Welcome all. Today's topic is salient features of Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution is unique in its content and spirit. It is a borrowed constitution. Even though it is a borrowed constitution, many of its features distinguish it from other constitutions of the world. The following are the salient features of Indian Constitution. First feature is lengthiest written constitution. Our constitution is a lengthiest written constitution. The original constitution contained 395 articles, 22 parts and 8 schedules. The bulky size of our constitution is due to some factors like geographical factors, that is the big size of our country and its diversity, the historical factors like the influence of Government of India Act 1935, and there is a single constitution for both the union and states, and the dominance of lawyers in the Constituent Assembly. And the second feature is drawn from different sources. Our constitution is a borrowed constitution. Many of its features taken from almost all constitutions of the world. For example, USA, UK, Australia, Canada, South Africa, etc. The fundamental rights are taken from the US Constitution. The parliamentary system of government is taken from the UK Constitution. The DPSP is taken from the Irish Constitution, etc. And it is both rigid and flexible. Indian Constitution is neither rigid nor flexible, but it is both rigid and flexible. Rigid constitution means it is very difficult to amend a constitution. That is, it requires a special procedure for its amendment. And flexible constitution means it is very easy to amend a constitution. That is, it can be amended like an ordinary lawmaking procedure. In the Indian Constitution, Article 368 explains two methods for the amending procedure. That is, one is some provisions of the Constitution can be amended through a special majority. That is, 2/3 of the majority present and voting in the House, and the total majority of the House. And next procedure is together with this special majority that requires the half of the state's ratification. And next feature is federal system with unitary bias. Indian Constitution is a federal constitution. That is, there is division and distribution of powers between union and state governments. And some of the federal features are two governments, division of powers, written constitution, supremacy of the constitution, rigid constitution, bicameralism, etc. The interesting thing is that the word federal is nowhere used in our constitution. In the Article 1, it says that India is a union of states. So our constitution is a unitary constitution also. Some of the unitary features of our constitution are strong center, single constitution, single citizenship, flexible constitution, etc. Next is parliamentary form of government. The feature of parliamentary system of government is there is a coordination between legislature and executive. The parliamentary system of government in India are characterized with some things like there is nominal executive and real executive. We all know that in India, the president is the nominal executive and the cabinet headed by the prime minister is the real executive. And there is a majority party rule, collective responsibility of the executive to the legislature, leadership of the prime minister or chief minister, dissolution of the Lok Sabha. This parliamentary system of government is taken from the British Constitution. And synthesis of parliamentary sovereignty and judicial supremacy. The doctrine of parliamentary sovereignty is taken from the British Constitution, and the principle of judicial supremacy is taken from the US Constitution. But there is some difference between these constitutions and India. That is, in Britain, the parliament is the supreme, that is, sovereignty is perfect or absolute there. And the judicial review, the scope of judicial review in India is narrower than that of the judicial review in USA. That is because in USA there is due process of law, and in India we are following procedure established by law. And So we have adopted the synthesis of these two characteristics, that is the parliamentary sovereignty and the judicial supremacy. And the Parliament of India can amend the constitution, and the Supreme Court of India has the power of judicial review, that is it can nullify a law if it is against the provisions of the constitution. And integrated and independent judiciary. Our judiciary is an integrated one that is different from US judiciary. In US there is two sets of courts, that is there is separate courts for states also, but we have one integrated system of court, that is at the top of the integrated system the Supreme Court is there, and below it the High Court, and below it there is a hierarchy of subordinate courts are there. And there are some provisions, constitutional provisions for ensuring the independence of judiciary in India, that is security of tenure of judges, fixed service conditions for judges, and all the expenses are charged on the Consolidated Fund of India, etc. And there is another characteristic like fundamental rights. The fundamental rights are included in Part 3 of the Constitution, and explains in the articles from 12 to 35. One important characteristics of our fundamental rights are justiciable, that is if these rights are denied to the citizens, they have the right to approach the court for the enforcement of these fundamental rights. And we have 6 fundamental rights are there, that is right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. Next is directive principles of state policy. These directive principles of state policy are included in Part 4 of the Constitution. It is for the mostly the directive principles are social and economic principles, that is for achieving a welfare state. These are included in our Constitution, and actually it is the directions given by the Constitution for the state for achieving a welfare state, and these principles are broadly classified into socialist principles, Gandhian principles, and liberal intellectual principles. And the one important difference between fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy are the fundamental rights are justiciable, while the directive principles are non-justiciable. And next is fundamental duties. Originally, our Constitution did not contain the fundamental duties. The need for including fundamental duties were felt during the emergency period. According to the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, 10 fundamental duties were added in our Constitution. It is in the Part 4A of the Constitution and included in only one article, that is 51A. And later in 2002, on the basis of 86th Constitutional Amendment Act, one more fundamental duty was added to our Constitution. So we have 11 fundamental duties now, and it is non-justiciable in character. Next is secular state. That is, secular means no official religion for our country. That is equal consideration for all religions, no special privileges for any religion. And this term secular was added in our Constitution according to the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. And there are various provisions for ensuring secular character of our state, that is Article 14, 15, 16 and 25 to 28, that is right to freedom of religion, 29, 30, etc. Next is universal adult franchise. Universal adult franchise it means every citizen who attains the age of 18 has the right to vote without any discrimination of caste, race, religion, sex, and so on. Actually, it was a bold step from our constitutional framers to include this universal adult franchise, that is for strengthening our democracy in India, and also for giving self-interest and self-respect to the common people also. And next is single citizenship. We have single citizenship that is different from the American Constitution. In USA there is dual citizenship, that is a person is or a citizen is US citizen as well as he is a citizen of the state from which he belongs. That is, for example, he is a US citizen and he is a citizen of Texas or something like that states. And it strengthened the fraternity of our nation. And next is independent bodies. In addition to the legislature, executive and judiciary of India, there are some independent bodies also in our country, that is Election Commission of India for conducting fair elections, and Controller and Auditor General of India, and he do all the audit of central and state governments, and Union Public Service Commission and State Public Service Commission. And there are also some constitutional provisions for ensuring independence of these bodies. Next is emergency provisions. Emergency provisions are are included in our constitution. That is, it shows the concentration of power to protect our nation. There are three emergencies in our constitution, that is national emergency, Article 352, state emergency, Article 356, and financial emergency, Article 360. Next is three-tier government. The 73rd and 74th constitutional amendments of 1992 have added a three-tier system of government, that is rural and urban local governments are there in our constitution. Thank you.